Hey, this is the Undercard. I'm going to be previewing all the fights coming up this weekend in MMA and giving my picks on who I think is going to win. This weekend, Friday, June 1st, we have UFC Fight Night Utica in New York. Not the greatest card, to be honest with you. Pretty dull weekend MMA, especially compared to the pay-per-view coming up next weekend. But this is going to be a pretty decent card. There are pretty awesome fights on this, some things to look out for. Some pretty interesting fighters that are going to be coming out of here. So let's get into it. First, we got headlining this card, Jimmy Rivera and Marlon Moraes. Both awesome bantamweights to be looking out for. Marlon Moraes coming over from World Series of Fighting, pretty dominant champion over there. Had that a rough one against Rafael Sunsao, and then bounced back, and he just beat Aljamain Sterling, who's no joke, and it's going to be interesting seeing where he goes from here, and especially beginning against Jimmy Rivera, who's on a 20-fight winning streak, second longest winning streak behind Khabib Nurmagomedov. Crazy. No one gets that. Like, he was only lost once ever, and it was, I think, his second fight, and since then he's just been on a tear. So you've got the number 5 ranked Marlon Moraes, number 6 Moraes, 7 Jimmy Rivera. They're going to be kind of fighting for that next shot at the title. I mean, you still have Dominic Cruz in there, a Sunsao, obviously Garbrandt and Dillashaw, but it's pretty safe to say that the winner out of this will get one of the top contenders, if not the next title shot. So that's going to be a good fight to look out for. It's going to be super technical, 2 awesome, really technical, strategic strikers. They're all really well-rounded, good wrestling. It's going to be fast-paced. It's going to be, I'm assuming, a finish. So that's going to be one to really look out for. Next up, you got Gregor Gillespie versus Vince Pichel. Gregor Gillespie is someone to look out for. He's undefeated. I want to say he's 11-0 against Vince Pichel, who's also a really, really big up-and-comer in that lightweight division. But Gregor Gillespie, his wrestling is next level. He's 4-time All-American Division I wrestling champion. I think Gregor's gonna take him down and get the TKO or decision. Next up, you got Walt Harris versus Daniel Spitz. Walt Harris, man, he dropped the last couple, but I mean, he stepped in last minute against Verdum, and then his last one against Mark Godbeer didn't go his way necessarily. But I still have faith in Walt Harris. I think he's got insane power and really, really good wrestling. I'm going to give this one to Walt Harris. See him walk away with that one. Next up, you got Jake Ellenberger versus Ben Saunders. Jake Ellenberger's dropped the last 4 of 5 fights. I'm going to have to give this one to Ben Saunders just because I think Jake's going to be at the end of his career. But I wouldn't count Jake out. He really only gets really stomped by the high level strikers, and Ben Saunders not known for his striking. He's super high level jiu-jitsu, and I'm sure he can strike with him, and this is going to be a pretty good match. This will be a good matchup. I don't want to see Jake Ellenberger go out the way he did in his last couple fights, but I think this will be a retirement fight, so look out for that one. Next up, you got Julio Arce versus Daniel Tamer. Daniel Tamer, one of the Tamer brothers that are fighting on this card. You got Daniel and David both fighting. Both high-level strikers, Muay Thai background. I'm going to give this one to Daniel Tamer just because I think both of them are on a really good run. One's 7-1, one's 8-1. Really high-level strikers. I'm going to give this one to the Tamer. I'm going to give it to both Tamer brothers, actually. But that'll come up later on the prelims. After that, you got closing out the main card, Gian Villante and Sam Alvey. Smiling Sam Alvey. I'm going to go to Gian Villante. I think his striking is just better than Sam's, but Sam Alvey somehow perseveres every fight. I don't know what it is. Dude is super tough, but I'm going to go with Gian Villante on this one. And then on the prelims, you got Sijara Eubanks versus Lauren Murphy, both alumni from the last season of Tough. I'm going to go with Sijara Eubank. I hear she's a really, really, really hard striker and someone to look out for in that new women's flyweight division. So I'm going to go with Sijara Eubanks. And the next fight, the other Tamer brother, David Tamer versus Nick Lentz. Nick Lentz is not going to be easy to get through. Nick Lentz has an insane guillotine, so David's going to have to watch out for that. As long as he doesn't dive into that or get caught in anything else, I think he should walk away with this. Next up, you got Bilal Muhammad and Chance Recountree. I'm gonna go with Bilal Muhammad on this one. Dude is awesome, all well-rounded, great striker, great wrestling. You know, he's had a couple of hiccups, but I got Bilal Muhammad all the way. And next up, you got Desmond Green and Gleison Tebow. This is a weird one. Gleison Tebow's lost his last 3. Desmond Green's lost his last 2. They're both kind of needing a win right now. Desmond Green's last 2, kind of weird. You know, his last one, his opponent came in like 7-8 pounds over, something like that. Michel Prazeres. And he got out wrestled. And I think Gleison could do that, but Gleison Tebow is on a pretty heavy losing streak of his own. You know, he just dropped it to Tony Ferguson, Abel Trujillo, and Islam Makhachev. Oh, I think he's getting towards the end too. I'm gonna have to go with Desmond Green on this one. I think this is gonna be his time to bounce back from those losses and show us, you know, he's really well-rounded, great striking. It's just got a little bit of bad luck these last couple of fights, so I'm gonna go with Desmond Green on that one. And then on the Fight Pass card, we got Jessica Aguilar and Jody Escobar. I'm gonna go with Jessica Aguilar. You got Johnny Eduardo and Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood, someone to look out for in this card, nicknamed the Prospect. He is a good prospect coming out of Cage Warriors from England, so look out for him. I think he's undefeated. And opening the card, you got Jared Brooks and Jose Torres. Torres making his UFC debut. Both are really good prospects. I'm gonna go with Jared Brooks just because we've seen more of him, and those last 2 performances of his were really good. But don't count out Jose Torres. He's gonna be someone to definitely keep an eye out for. So that's it, guys. UFC Fight Night Utica this weekend. You got Jimmy Rivera versus Marlon Moraes, a fireworks main event. If you're gonna watch any MMA this weekend, that's gonna be the one to watch out for. And then a few other pretty big prospects to look out for. Nathaniel Wood, you got the opening fight, Jose Torres, and then the Gregor Gillespie one. And Bilal Muhammad, not gonna disappoint. All pretty good fights. Next week though, the big card, I'll be posting a preview video for that one, so please again subscribe, like to my channel for updates and videos, and I'll be posting updates every week. So thanks.